Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Vecna, Eve of Ruin. Ooh, I almost said Descent into Ruin.
I was going to say, I'm so used to you saying Descent into Home's End. I was like,
Excuse me.
where am I?
I know, right?
It's been so long.
Maybe someday. Well, welcome. Have a seat, have a snack or a drink ready, and get ready as we delve into our stories in the Wizards of the Coast pre-made adventure that I just said. Last time on Vecna, I believe we had left off. We had just fought some vampires outside of a ruin. The party had just entered and they went through it and saw some strange, sorrowful creature. And with their wits and with a spell cast by Alyssa, they completely dog-watered the fight and destroyed it. And with that, they completed Chapter 1. And here we sit in front of Webb's Edge, a strange cult worshipping Lolth in the Underdark, looking for a piece of a rod, is where we left off. I'm sure Ryan can explain more, especially about the three mages and everything that happened there. So if you would like to take the spotlight.
After the absolutely stunning victory in the Dolendar tomb, there's a 1-year time skip. And the 1 year was spent bettering yourselves, your homes, going on slight adventures, doing your own things.
I wouldn't say bettering ourselves, but go off.
Playing music, self-care. Self-care, okay? Speak your truth.
We're gonna fucking murdering people in our fucking basement.
Speak your truth, girl. Speak your truth.
Slay
Queen.
Slay! Oh, she's such a girl boss. Oh, she's such a girl boss.
She was.
I need to move back from my mic a little bit. I just saw the peeking. There's a bit of a time skip, and eventually they were sucked through a portal. And as we discussed last time, there was the three mages. Illustrial Silverhand at the head, flanking were Tasha, the mage, which the Book of Tasha's Cauldron Everything is named after, and the infamous Mornin Kanan. Love that guy. Love his bald head. Love his bald head. Love his
He's so shiny.
Doctor Strange cloak. And they told you about a contingency that they had after a bit of questioning. And that involved the Rod of Seven Pieces. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the Rod of Seven Pieces. I never have, so I don't know if it is infamous. I can't speak on that. I'm not a Rod of Seven Pieces expert.
I believe so. But this is my first time hearing of it.
The first mark was the Underdark, and you were told a little bit about the occupants of where you were going to, Webb's Edge. Lolth Worshippers. Alright? Now, after various religion history checks, you learned a couple common phrases, common practices, and you ventured in through this portal, and you were met with the puzzle, which Anama easily solved quite easily.
That's me, by the way. Hello, everybody. I'm Noah. I play a gold dragonborn paladin named Inama. What's funny is that me and Ryan are duo DMing. So at the chapter 1, I was DMing, and now it's chapter 2, he's DMing. So technically, our characters are kind of the same person, question mark?
The world may never know.
Yes. And after Anama investigated that, I believe the person to take the first steps in was Evan's character.
Imrith, hello!
If you'd like to speak a little bit about Imrith's truth.
Well, Imrith, Dream Druid, loves to hop around through dreams and shit. Likes to be animals. After taking the first steps into Webb's Edge, after Inama so graciously opened the door, my first instinct was to cast Detect Magic, and lo and behold, every stone on a pedestal was magic, which turned out to be a trap.
I believe they were like coins and rubies on the ground.
Yeah, they were like these fist-sized gems that looked so So
Yeah,
impressive.
right for the taking.
So alluring.
And I believe the person checking for traps as well was Alia's character. If you'd like to speak a little bit about her, Truth, come on, slay, bitch.
Yeah, that's
Yas.
so true. As for Morgana, she was looking for traps.
Who's Morgana?
My character.
Go on.
What class is she? What race is
She's
she? I know
whole
nothing.
bunch.
I'm new here.
It's a whole bunch of different things. She's a rogue and a warlock.
A roguelock.
I hate you.
That's gonna be cut out.
She's a rogue war. She's a rogue warlock. Shatter.
What is going on?
This is why your mom doesn't fucking love you.
No!
Anyway,
After
she's a
discussion,
rogue
put it-
warlock. She is a rogue warlock. Shatter Kai.
I think we got that part.
Wow.
I think we got that part.
That was so loud. Holy shit.
That was the longest character intro we've had yet. As you can see, that's
all
her
that
wonderful
in.
Hero Forge there. And of course, always by her side is her cousin Alyssa's character. If you care to explain a bit about her.
Hi. I played the cousin who happens to be Noir. She's also a Shatterkai. She's a bard warlock. She's cool. And she's French.
Wow. She's French? I didn't know that. Oh.
Oh.
Her
Zotallah!
is French for black.
Her accent is French.
Doesn't mean
Her
she has to be
accent?
French.
Is French.
She's French.
Her accent is French. Does French exist? Does Paris exist in D&D?
No.
It
No.
does now.
Asking for a friend.
Well, speaking of accents,
now.
the accents of Webb's Edge
It's in the
were of
Shadowfell.
rubble and skeletons, of which you counted about 5 of various sizes, ranging from gnomes to tieflings. And you investigated a bit, and you found 3 locked doors. Now, you couldn't quite hear through them. I believe Morgana and Imrith put their ear up to one door, and they heard this slight chanting behind it. So, of
I
course,
didn't.
they did the only sane thing to do, and cracked that bitch open. Opening the door was a breeze for Morgana. She rolled like a 30 or something like that. Didn't even make a noise as she cracked open these huge iron gates, revealing the small ritual chamber flanked by a lot of candles and a huge summoning circle in the middle of this room. A deep gnome was on the other side in these black cultist robes, currently chanting some runes around her hands. And of course, time is of the essence, so to act, you must think. And boy, did you guys take a lot of time to think on this.
Boy, do we not think. That's something we're very good at.
Yeah, you guys exited the room, and I had to give a slight nod to, any second now, whatever she's summoning is about to crack through that fucking floor, which kind of strong-armed the party into either going, maybe we should blend in, or let's just fucking kill this bitch. To which they lean, let's fucking kill this bitch.
Always.
Morgana taking a shot straight at the gnome. I believe up first on initiative was Imrith. He teleported up to this mage, and he attempted to cast Erupting Earth, which he counterspelled. And unfortunately for the party, the mage was up next, and she managed to summon a Glabrazu. And the book specifically
Bless
says,
you.
after a turn, it is summoned. So this huge, hulking, red-skinned creature, these black horns and protrusions around the body, these crab crustacean-like claws, as well as these clawed hands that flank right below it. This terrifying beast fucking comes out, eyes glowing red in the darkness of this room. Scary, scary stuff. Very fortunately, though, Anama, the paladin, runs up, takes a hold the line style pose, and it is unfortunately paralyzed by the creature on its turn, of which, surprisingly, looked like it was normal. He was just holding the line, very tense. And
Quick little power word pain.
a little bit power word pain.
I think it was
No,
power word
power
stun.
stun.
Actually,
It was
not
power
pain.
word stun.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, it missed a fuck ton of its attacks on him. It tried so
so
hard to
based.
take him out, but It couldn't.
Got so far.
And to be fair, it's a valid strategy. Why kill it when you can just outlast it? And fortunately, they should have went by. Morgana one-shot the mage because of course she did. And on Emrith's next turn, he used the Chimes of Exile to banish this motherfucker. Yippee!
Chimes of Exile? What's
The
that?
Chimes of Exile are a rare magic item, which are used to
What it
cast
sounds like.
banishment. But there's an
No
added
way.
little bit to it. If they're below 50 HP, they automatically fail. They're just banished.
And if they have more than that, they have to succeed a DC 20.
A DC 20 charisma saving throw. And these were given to them by
I didn't
Mordenkainen
write any of
because
that down.
he realized that this would be needed to banish Vecna after his ritual.
Would really suck if we lost it.
It would really fucking blow if you lost it, wouldn't it? Really bad.
They're like high-level mages. They can just remake one.
Why are you guys trying to feed false narratives? It wasn't lost, ever.
I have it.
Surely.
But the fight was over as
What
soon
do
as
you-
it began, because the Glabrezu failed its charisma saving throw to stay put. But unfortunately, a lot of fucking noise was made because there was like 2 Cone of Colds cast in the room. And they began to panic. They fled the room and very quietly closed the door, to which they saw this entourage of people, these robed individuals, and this woman with these brown feathered wings and this sick, hideous smile on her face. And they fled to the main room where they began to plan what the fuck to do. Do you guys remember what you were talking about? You're discussing.
I think we just went to another door.
Yeah, I believe.
At least I
And-
did. I'm pretty sure.
I
Or
think
Imrith
we
did,
both
yeah.
did.
Not Noir. Imrith and Morgana.
Mm.
And then we realized that door led back to the room we were just in.
So then
The
we went to
ritual
the other
room.
one.
And then that's when.
Oh yes.
I, being the charismatic paladin, went with Noir, who was the charismatic bard. And I was like,
Real.
we should try to talk our way into this, right? Let's just like pretend we just stumbled upon this place and that we're down to clown with these Loth members. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. I believe Inama said that he's got the smolder. Sometimes talking just works out for him. So I'm sure nothing bad will happen this time.
And when they first arrived, they
Yama is
noticed.
such a charmer.
Oh, we will learn this. He's got the
Oh,
riz,
yeah.
that W riz. When they first entered, they scouted the area out, and there was this statue in one of these rooms, this prayer room, of which 2 people were trying to one-up each other with these prayers, progressively getting louder before they had to mute themselves. And surprisingly, earlier on, Anama walked by in this heavy-ass plate armor, making a shit ton of noise. They didn't even notice. Oblivious as hell is what they were. However, when they were walking back over, they noticed one of the figures proceeding inside. And that's when Anama said his piece. With
Hello. We're wandering travelers. We were just wondering what the biz is here and all that.
To which the Duragar mage, this cultist, promptly said, "Help!" And
Fucking hilarious. And that's where the
combat-
session ended, by the
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That's true.
It ended right with the help. And when it picked up next session, because I guess we'll cover 2 since we're literally only 14 minutes in.
Yeah, they did not take too kindly to random strangers, I guess.
What was going through you guys' heads at that moment? Like,
We're fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock them out before they
I
even get a chance
imagined-
to act.
I imagined everyone who heard it went
yeah,
simultaneously.
yeah,
It was a good
Yeah.
plan.
it was a good plan.
I feel like there was better things we could have did,
100%
Yeah, but-
because
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
earlier
but
on,
it made a funny moment.
Anama was actually one of the people who succeeded on the religion check, which I believe revealed the phrase "the Spider Queen's embrace upon you" or something of the sort. That was like, this is what you should say to these people to blend in, right? Unfortunately,
Well, I was a new acolyte. I didn't know that. I wanted to join.
It was
silly.
Yeah,
I would have been the best Lord worshiper of their time, and they lost me.
that's true. They could have.
So it's really their fault.
It's their loss, dude. It's like catching a huge
Yeah.
carp while you're fishing. I've never been fishing, and then it like
And then you
breaks
yell,
your
"Help."
line, bro. It breaks the line. For all you fishers out there, you'll understand that. I'm sure.
Shout out to my fishers out there.
Wishing,
Sorry, I had to call.
wishing,
What's up, fishers?
Hey. my fishers out there, wishing I was fishing. Am I right? Anyways, the next session started out with combat. The
Yippee.
mage went to cast
Yippee.
a spell that you could recognize, message, and I don't believe he got his turn because it Noir on her turn cast whole person, and this motherfucker cast counterspell to which he was counterspelled, and he was stuck there. And Nama's turn was up next, and he just bonk, bonk, and he was still upright. His eyes were still open, and nobody succeeded their medicine check to see if he was unconscious or not, because homie was stuck in a pose.
Isn't it that Noir ended up getting a nat 1 and she was
Yeah,
like
I did.
extremely
This
intimidated?
guy is still a threat. This guy's a threat still. And for the entire fight, you held concentration on a whole person until I think the last like 2 rounds of initiative, to which his body fucking collapsed because that motherfucker was unconscious.
Yeah.
And
I'm like,
unfortunately,
this guy's a fucking threat.
the
You
commotion,
stay there.
the commotion actually did echo throughout the chamber and was heard by one of the cultists. To which the middle door burst open, and 2 mages, an assassin, and this Arrhenius burst through, and combat ensued. Bloody, tons of fucking damage. It was an absolute hellscape. If you guys would like to maybe give it a rundown of like the first quarter of combat,
I think combat lasted like the entire session.
it was
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
hours.
It was one of those. Yeah.
Wasn't that bad?
It was no, it's not bad, but it was a huge combat. It was huge.
Yeah.
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 I'm
It's
pretty
only
sure
gonna get longer.
the only thing that I really remember is I believe it was just Noir and Morgana left standing.
Spoilers.
That's at the end of the combat.
Oh.
But starting it off, there was
Mm-hmm.
2 orc mages, and one of them cast greater invisibility.
Oh,
And of
yeah.
course, the see invisibility spell that they cast when they arrived originally was still up. So they watched him walk to the corner and prepare a spell. The other mage, as every mage in Vecna does, cast Cone of Cold. Which wasn't that bad. Wasn't
That's
that
3.
Get
it-
new spells, nerd.
That's 3 in 1 visit.
Yeah. And it wasn't as
That's a new
devastating because
material.
Imrith had actually cast Fire Shield, Flame Shield, before combat had started. And
Also, I think Imrith was that didn't even matter because Imrith he teleported away and he was at just the edge of the cone of cold,
yeah,
so it didn't even hit him.
Yeah.
And-
No, but there was another spell that had gone off that froze a giant area.
That was
It wasn't
Ice Storm.
Cone of Cold.
that was
Yeah, that's where
Um,
the fire shield did come in.
yeah. The Arrhenius had started off. Beck was up in combat, beat the shit out of these 2 Grimlocks that were in the front, and that's when the Arrhenius.
Shout out to Beck, by the way. Who's Beck? For
Beck-
any
Shout out
new
to Beck.
people.
Beck is an astral self monk trained in the ways of discipline and flanked by their totally not a stand knight. Super badass, super fucking like the damage they pump out is crazy. And they were locked in combat with an Arrhenius and an assassin. The assassin crit and I think took them down to like 10 HP, to which the Arrhenius finished them off on the ground.
Oh god,
Uh,
Yeah, that was
And
rough.
after that, the Arrhenius saw Imrith cast a healing spell, and that does not fly. And she chased
She
them around
does.
until Imrith went unconscious, and eventually locked herself into combat with a Nama. But prior to
Yeah,
that,
that was a big moment. Imrith casted heal, and I'm not sure it was the Arrhenius, but a mage went to counterspell him.
yeah,
But guess what? Guess who's an Oath of the Watcher's Paladins and gets counterspell? This guy. That mage to counterspell them. And that heal was, I think, very important. for the fight.
very, very important because it
'Cause
bought you guys an
Beck
extra 2 rounds, I think, with Beck.
Yeah, Beck ended up going down pretty much in like the first turn of first full round of combat, and so I was like, no better time to use it than now.
Yep.
So 70 HP back up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that made them almost a full
Yep.
Basically,
HP. so,
yeah.
Very, very important, and very good that now the party has someone that can cast counterspell. Super fucking valuable. And combat continued around. They were trading blows. Morgana was picking off the weaker shits, and this was when it truly looked terrible, because the door that was right across from where the prayer was going on burst open, and a second assassin, one of the other worshippers, had snuck past the combat and alerted the Nalfashne that was guarding the cells, and he came out. So not only do you have two mages, an assassin, and an Arrhenius, you also now have a Nalfashne and an extra
What's a
assassin
Nalfashne?
to deal with. And combat started looking bad. Not only
What's that elfish name?
a Nalfashne is a large pig-like demon, blubberous and covered in this black like fur. They also have these two tiny bat wings hanging off their back, which barely grant them flight.
Pretty goofy.
And its maw is fucking strong. This thing burst into combat, and shortly before that, the assassin had knocked Beck unconscious and then killed them outright. That was terrible.
Ruthless.
There was, I don't
Yeah.
believe there's any revivifies left or anything like that.
No.
And
I didn't have the diamonds for it.
there is still, to make matters worse, there's still a
We
mage
broke
on the
ass
field.
bitches.
I mean, it wasn't as bad because we knew the clerics could just.
Yes, but
Bring
it's
us
still a
back.
scary situation to not be able to get an extra party member up.
Yeah, and also with the fact of everyone goes down, who's gonna get the bodies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we lose.
Yeah.
Amberth was
At the
also
end of
unconscious,
Vecna.
and I believe failed 3 death saving throws.
No, the Arrhenius fully took me out.
Oh, the Arrhenius must, just fucking.
Yeah, just saw the healing.
Yeah, no thanks. And after that, the Arrhenius was locked into combat with Inama, and Morgana and Noir were left to deal with the last mage, the last assassin, and this Nalfashne now. But that we'll
A
get.
pretty sad moment that I remember. Noir, her classic spell, Psychic Lance, deals a bunch of damage and renders the subject incapacitated. It's how they breeze through that big boss encounter in Chapter 1. She was like, wow, this demon's probably dumb as fuck. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Oopsies, there's a mage within 120 feet. I mean, 60 feet.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
I was literally
Say
one
goodbye to your
space
spell.
off. I
Ah.
was one
Yeah,
space
one
off, too.
space.
And the worst part about it too was they didn't even have a 3rd level spell slot to use, so they would have to roll. They only had 4th level spell slots, so it just countered it, and that was crushing.
Real.
That could have made the fight turn out way better than it did.
Don't eyeball your grids.
Count that shit out.
Count that
Yeah.
shit out.
If you're playing
take
for
the
keeps.
time. Don't eyeball it, because that's what I did, and I was one off.
You gotta play.
It's like I thought we learned this lesson.
Eventually, we will.
Well, I did it during that fight. I did count to
Hmm.
do something, and then I eyeballed it the last time because I'm like, that looks about fine. No.
Big
Wasn't.
mistake.
Yeah. And locked into
Don't
combat,
trust your gut.
Inama and the Arrhenius were trading blows, blocking each other's attacks, but unfortunately, the Arrhenius just has too much fucking HP, and it does too much HP. Makes 3 attacks a turn, it has extra poison damage, and Inama eventually went down.
False. On my turn.
Oh, no!
I casted my final 3rd level Divine Smite,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking crit her. I think I killed her.
You
I
did.
dealt like 60 something damage,
Yeah,
and I turned
I'm
her
pretty
to
sure
dust.
it
I
was
think
the
you
assassin that
killed
got
her.
you.
Yeah, you killed her.
No, it was the
on-
Nalfashne that got
You
me.
killed her on the exact number you needed. After
Oh,
that,
beast.
you ran up to the Nalfashne.
Yeah.
Noir
So I had
cast-
this I was like, yeah, I killed one demon. Time to go for the next one. You're on my list now, motherfucker.
Yeah,
And
and,
then, yeah.
Noir cast Cloud of Daggers, which is a 5-foot cube. And unfortunately, the Nalfashne can fly, so it just went 1 square up and fucking bit Inama's head off, pretty much.
Yep.
And left on the field was Morgana, Noir, an Alpha and an Assassin. It's a 2v2. It's simple enough. That just this alone probably trailed on for about 30 of the minutes that we spent in combat. And it was a fucking uphill battle for you guys, running for the door because you were trying to just escape. The goal was escape. And when you finally made it to the door, the Nalfashnay teleported right outside so you couldn't get out. Because they have an ability that lets them teleport 120 feet along with whatever they're carrying or wearing. So your way of escape was blocked, and now you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So you divvied up what to do. Morgana started attacking the Nalfashnay, and Noir was dealing with the Assassin. And with your repelling blast, that motherfucker was getting pushed 30 feet every turn. So all you could do was shoot a crossbow bolt and try to get closer.
Bang, bang, bang.
Just poof, 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 poof. And despite all odds, that fight looked fucking terrible for you guys. You fucking prevailed. You dragged the corpses of your teammates out into the hall and towards this portal. And after a little bit of, maybe premature looting on Morgana's part, you were brought back into Sanctum where some clerks were waiting to revive them. And what were you guys' thoughts on the initiative? What was going through your minds?
Just another fight.
That was scary.
It was scary.
And it all started because I was a bit goofy and I forgot a saying.
I think we all forgot.
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember that even happening.
It was something that escaped everyone's minds.
I don't think D&D fights are all that scary, unless they're real big bosses, like a dragon.
Well, if you look at it, you guys
or
were pretty low.
Primitivius.
It was kind of like one more initiative and you guys were fucked. You were dead.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
if an
I
Alpha
had,
Schnee hit his attacks, you guys
Yeah.
were fucked.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
now
but
Alpha does
he
5,
did it.
5d10 plus 5.
Well, probably, I feel like Morgana would have been fine. I would have been toast. Because I spent a lot of turns healing everyone, so I pretty much used, all my 3rd level spell slots on healing.
Mm.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, you guys were probably... Oh, sorry, go on.
I think I left that fight with, 12 HP, while Morgana had 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just one bad turn in initiative until it was unwinnable, the Nalfashnay missed 4 attacks at the end. In that, it saved your guys' asses. Because if Noir went down, you were stuck with an Assassin and an Nalfashnay. And
I think Morgana's fine though.
you could have escaped.
My toxic trait is I could have done it.
Yeah, well, the thing is you could have done it by fleeing. You have a lot of tools in your arsenal that would just let you get the fuck out of there. But there's no way to win that fight.
I didn't.
I know. What I'm saying is you could have if
I didn't have any teleportations left.
No, you had an invisibility potion that you could use to hide.
So you're just a rogue.
Yeah.
So you go stealth.
So
Yeah.
it was one bad initiative away from being uh-oh. But you guys
I was already
prevailed.
thinking, uh-oh.
But you guys prevailed.
Me too.
You won. Against all odds.
Of course we did.
You beat
I knew it.
every enemy that was in Web's Edge.
Not every enemy.
Almost every enemy in Web's Edge. The exact opposite way the book's you should probably tell them if they go in like this, they're going to die. But they didn't.
We're just
Okay,
based.
D&D
If the
wizard.
Nalfashnay didn't pull up, the fight wouldn't even look that scary. Sure, one party member's dead, or 2 party members are dead already, but you could just fucking revive them and get back in
It's
there.
funny, because the mage that went to go call the Nalfashnay, I believe he was hiding in the back room, and Inama went to it and held up his
Yeah.
sword, and it was if you leave, you're gonna die. Choose the right option, and dude just left
Yeah.
anyway. I think I rolled intimidation check and I got 15 or something.
Yeah, the thing is, he was not, cultists. I believe in the monster manual even have the thing where it's they just do not fucking care.
Real.
Not only that, I rolled
They're
what I do when it comes to intimidation is I roll an opposing insight check, and he had an 18, something around that.
So he knew that I meant it.
Yeah, he knew, but he was like, "You got an elfish name."
And now you don't.
But yeah, the
Yep.
fight
Sucks to be you.
the fight ended, the party was revived, and with a slight bit of annoyance, Mordenkainen was like, "You guys are going back, right? We have nothing left."
Imagine if we were just like, no. Like, now we're done here.
Oh, bro,
Yeah,
if
we're
we
not
did,
going
Morgana
back.
would be like, "Fuck yeah, let's not do that."
We're not doing this quest for you anymore.
Yeah, let's let Vecna win. I'm on Vecna's side.
Okay.
I mean, Morgana has like mentioned that to all three of them. She's like, "If you guys are such powerful wizards, why can't you guys do
They're
this?"
so sleepy after the wish spell. So sleepy.
Yeah,
But we're doing this for
That's
Mom.
For your mommy.
yeah, that's why she's on board.
Thank you for saving me.
If Vecna didn't have an issue with the Raven Queen, she'd be like, "Fuck your fucking lich, do it yourself."
Yeah, who's mom?
Our mother,
Who is?
our mom.
The Raven,
Raven
Queen.
Queen.
The Raven
We worship
Queen.
the Raven Queen.
Yeah, we do.
Who's
It's
the
not
Raven
actually
Queen?
our mom.
That you know of.
She's a goddess.
Of
I don't know.
Raven.
Oh,
The great
brother, this
whisperers,
guy
I tell ya.
stinks. She ushers souls into the afterlife, and maybe she snacks on a couple
Yeah.
every now and again.
I don't know what like the
Yummers.
actual like.
Yummers.
Yeah, I don't know
thing
what the
is.
term is, but that's what she does.
Yeah,
Soul
she says
shack
she
show.
does.
There you go, perfect.
Goddess of soul eating.
Goddess of soul
Well,
eating.
regardless of whether she's the goddess of soul eating, you guys were revived and
This is the
decided
home
to
of the
take
sun
a
god.
prolonged nap. But there's tragedy in the situation because Imrith did not return to his body. When
Oh,
Imrith died the first
no!
time, he went to a place called the Everlasting Dream because he is a dream druid. And this time, it just felt
That
too
sounds
nice.
cool,
And he
though.
knows that when you get revived, you're in a lot of pain afterwards. And he was like, "Fuck that shit. I'm not doing
I
it."
do want to stay.
He was just so tired. He was so eepy, you know?
Internal nap.
An eternal nap.
Internal?
Yeah, an internal.
Internal?
Internal
It's
nap.
eternal.
But
Tomato, tomato.
Speaking speaking of
The
eternal
fuck
naps,
you want from me?
the party took a long rest. A well-deserved long rest. Anamo has returned some of his gear. And I believe you guys spent a bit of that morning discussing some things.
I took a shower.
I think the library incident happened the next day. Right?
It happened after the session.
No,
it
it,
did,
happened
it did.
It happened when
after.
after we got it.
You guys
Spoiler.
were met with a new traveling companion, as Alestriel had arranged for a cleric to come with you. And that cleric was
God.
Sterling Astra,
Sterling
a
Asher.
7-foot tall furbolg who likes to wear his robe over his head. It's all white, blue trimming. Worships Mistra. Get the fuck out! I'm sure I'll make the hero forge
Who's
tonight.
Mistra?
Whoa.
I don't even know, to be honest.
Goddess of magic.
Magic.
This is a.
We have the worst
I genuinely
fucking
don't know.
acolytes.
She's
Ever.
the one that holds the weave together.
She's
Okay.
a child
Moving
predator.
swiftly on from this. We don't talk
She
about the
literally
Baldur's Gate
made magic,
rendition.
bro.
We don't. For all you who are in the know.
If you know, you know.
Ale one time.
Oh, you groom one Gale!
And
No.
I'm pretty sure it was more than just Gale, but
It
go
most
on.
Go on, King.
definitely was.
Gale dinner.
Anyways,
So true.
despite the morals of that, or lack thereof, I suppose, she's still the goddess of magic, and you guys are in the magical place with Alestriel Silverhand, which is a avid worshipper of her. And you're granted a cleric to go with you.
Yippee!
That's where the next session ended. And guess what? We're up to the final session of Web's Edge. Which,
Only 3?
yeah, it was. I wondered what happens next. So,
Crazy.
to go into what happens next, you guys had entered
Whoa,
back through
3
the portal.
sessions, 1 video?
We're speedrunning it
You
because
guys are getting lucky.
surprisingly, Web's Edge was super short. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys had
Yeah.
ventured in, and you were waiting by the door. You were figuring out a plan when Beck decided, you know what? I'm going to take a step in. I'm going to scout out a bit. I'm going to use my monk prowess of stealth and go in. And unfortunately, Beck failed their perception check and failed their dexterity saving throw and triggered a trap, which was...
I believe
was gonna
that's
say-
where the third session or
where the-
second session
yes,
ended.
that is where the second
Yeah,
session ended.
I was going to say, can we backtrack a little bit? Because
absolutely
during the long rest, or I think after the long rest, we made a plan that we were going to stealthily go into the fucking keep thing. I'm pretty sure.
Web's Edge.
And yeah, that the web place, and we were gonna go in and get out and be quiet.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, it didn't.
It was
turn out
quiet.
well. It was quiet because someone decided to cast silence.
And needed to be quiet as possible. So Sterling, using his massive brain, cast silence on himself. Very, very good choice, because that would stop casters from, counterspelling you. And it would also keep your muffled footsteps muffled. And that is when Beck decided to go in, but unfortunately the session ended. And when the next session picked up, Beck was gone because a portal opened up beneath them, as per usual.
Bye-bye.
And I couldn't make it. And you guys left again. Because following Beck in was Morgana. And Morgana unfortunately suffered the same fate of failing their dexterity saving throw. Combat ensued. There was 3 mages, 2 assassins, and the goddamn Glabrazoo again. Because every hour there is dozens of new cultists that show up and leave. And the Duragar was left alive. And no one grabbed him. So...
I thought he was dead.
No, he alerted
He was left unconscious.
the rest of the
I'm
cultists
I'm
that showed up.
sorry. I was too busy grabbing a dragonborn, an elf, and a human.
Yeah, you guys were
Sorry.
preoccupied.
I was a little
I'll have you know I was an
busy.
Eldrin. Get it right.
Shut the
That's an
fuck
elf.
up. I
And
don't
what's an Eldrin,
care.
Evan?
It's a type of
Huh?
elf.
A type of elf.
It's a type of elf. I don't care.
Yeah, but it was a small elf.
All elves are small. Look at the lore.
Fuck off!
They're smaller than humans. Regardless, this is all semantics, because what ensued next was the worst turn of initiative ever. Morgana was hanging upside down. That's fucking terrible. But you want to know what's worse than
She was
just hanging
hanging out,
upside
bro.
down? Having 3
What?
assassins, or 2 assassins and 3 mages do things on their turns, because it was a surprise round. 2 assassins immediately took Morgana unconscious. And since Morgana was unconscious,
Bang,
guess what ensued? 3 fireballs. Inama tried to brace as much of the fire damage as he could to save as many people behind him. Morgana's charred fucking corpse was just hanging there like a piñata, unfortunately. And when combat went back to the top of initiative, the Glabrazoo fucking rushed up. You guys were trying to hold the lines, trying to get Morgana down. And after a slight oversight from me, the rope shouldn't have been there anymore because 3 fireballs went off. You guys grabbed Morgana's corpse and fucking booked it.
Yeah, thanks to a College of Glamour feature.
Real. Brain stopped working for 2 seconds. College of Glamour. They get an ability called, I think it's Mantle of Majesty, where you can use a bonus action to grant up to 6 people 8 temporary hit points, and then as well they can use their reaction to move up to their movement. So I used that, and we all fucking booked it out.
Yeah, skedaddled.
Also helped that Inama also took the Glabrazoo's reaction. And did that.
Bless you.
Just so based.
Yeah. And you guys return.
So, imagine this from the mage's perspective. You're Mordenkainen. You just sent your adventurers off in their second attempt to go to Web's Edge. Thinking everything's great. You go get a cup of coffee. You come back not even 2 minutes later, and one of them is dead, a charred corpse, and they have all rushed back in.
I remember very vividly thinking, what would Mordenkainen and the rest of them think? Alestriel was like, oh no, a charred corpse, this is really bad. Mordenkainen was like, are you fucking kidding me? You think they'd learn.
You serious?
And he was like, okay, well, you guys are going back, right? There was no choice but to go back. But there was a choice that they did get to make. What route are they going to take? To which they had these invisibility potions that they had acquired just the day before. And just outside of Webb's Edge, they hatched a plan where Morgana and Noir would sneak through. Bottoms up, they cast invisibility and drank an invisibility potion and started venturing throughout the slim tunnels of Webb's Edge, to which they were met with a few sights, a prison with a cyclops in it, and a couple chests, all containing Lolth holy symbols. And I believe it was a gem as well, a gem of revealing or something of the sort.
Gem of seeing.
A gem of seeing. And
Which
eventually,
is really funny.
their path led to this large open cavern, strewn with bones, piles of skulls and sinew, and not to mention absolutely plastered with webs, spider webs to be exact. Now you might be thinking,
I wonder
hate
why.
spiders. I hate spiders. Ooh. Well, the proprietor of these webs was not a spider. It was a massive dragon-looking creature with spider legs. Editor, put a photo up there. It's disgusting. Ooh. Oh, God, look at that thing. That's disgusting. And not only was there was a Yoklol, which is a melting wax-like tree creature. And they were watching over this massive web, in the center of which was like a fist-sized bundle. And as you guys got closer, you realized that was what you're here for. The first piece of the Rod of Seven Pieces. And what ensued
No way.
was
it actually
15
exists.
real minutes.
Oh my
of what
god.
to do.
Okay.
And
Y'all
that's not a bad
keep
thing. That's not a
shitting
bad thing.
on
That's
it.
not a
Y'all
bad
keep
thing.
shitting on
Hey.
it.
Hold on. Do
Hey,
you know how many times in this podcast we've complained about not planning anything?
And that's
Unless
why-
I plan something.
and that no,
You
I
guys
was
took
sitting there.
15 minutes.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's very
Yes.
good. But me as the DM, I was sitting there like, yeah, you guys had it the first time. Your first idea was great, and then you guys were like, but what if we go do this other thing? And I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because like we were
We
thinking
have
of
to,
every.
Yeah,
we have to
It's
think of
called
every possible.
anxiety, dude.
How many times have you thrown fucking shit at us, unprepared, and we fucking died? I ain't doing this shit again. This is the no death run.
I
Plus,
was
we're by
chilling.
ourselves.
I was chilling. I was
Plus,
sipping
we're
my
by
Cokie,
ourselves.
sipping my Cokie, eating my pizza, waiting.
Listen, I was thinking if because like 2 seconds before we were showed that the webs were sticky.
Very sticky.
So I was like, okay, most webs, if you touch them, I was thinking Lord of the Rings, that would do some like weird shit and call the big
Yeah,
thing
web sense.
or the other one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so we got to be quick with it.
It's a very valid concern because a lot of spiders in
Yes.
D&D do just have web sense. But there was
Yeah,
a slight hint that it didn't. When you guys stepped in the webs originally, you did not notice.
Oh, I just thought you rolled bad.
But it was good because you guys went through all your options and eventually decided on plan A. Fuck it, we ball. Which was, it was hilarious. You guys teleported up, cut the rod piece free and cast Dimension Door. And the length of Webb's Edge was not more than 500 feet. So you guys just teleported straight back to the portal. And I rolled for it. The dragon
I was
didn't even
also-
notice.
I was also
Real.
thinking, because I was imagining these webs, because that thing's huge,
Yeah.
right? Was it huge?
It was a huge creature.
So I assumed the bigger the thing, the thicker the web. So I was like, maybe there'd be some stupid thing where you had to roll, like, to cut it with, like, a strength save or something. And I was like, this is ass, but I guess we're trying.
This is where one of my complaints come in. It does set these webs up to be super durable, super sticky, and really hard to, like, cut. And in the book, it just says
But,
it
yeah.
takes an action to cut. And I think that's stupid.
That's
but
what I was thinking. I was like, maybe we have to, like, really dig that shit in there
I think
to get it out.
you should have. But the book
Yes.
said just an action.
End of the day, it's DM's discretion.
Yes. But I was also
Well,
like,
yeah.
if you guys failed this, do I want 2 dead party members? Like, that's not. I was like, it's also cool because you guys put that 15 minutes in. I would rather reward you for thinking about all your possibilities and not, like, fucking around, finding out. You know? You guys put the effort in.
I find it really funny. Oh, sorry.
No, you go on.
I find it really funny that one of the original plans was to cast Eldritch Blast on it, so it would
Yes.
break.
And
Absolutely.
the only
it
thing I
would just
could,
go fucking
yeah.
fly.
all I could picture was the scene in Desolation of Smaug, or maybe it's the Hobbit before, where Bilbo is trying to grab the Arkenstone, and he's like running through the horde, and it's like just out of his grasp. That's what I pictured.
It's definitely the
Desolation of
the
Smaug.
second
Yeah.
one.
And it was so funny, man. Like, you guys Eldritch blasted, it starts bouncing off the ground. You guys were like,
Okay, because I was thinking, because the webs are thick. If I cut that, it'll swing down. Because I wasn't gonna shoot all 3 around it. I was gonna shoot it and then we grab it and go. Like if it like swung down.
Yeah. But you guys cut it free. You got the first rod, and upon touching it, your head was filled with the knowledge of the next location. A sea of astral stars and gases and wonderful colors, floating asteroids and bodies of dead gods, and it was beautiful.
I wonder where that is.
What? I have no fucking clue where that is.
I've never
seen
thought of this
anything
place
like
ever.
I have no clue.
I
Could be
think
anywhere.
I think it's Eberron.
But you all touched it.
That's a good guess.
I think it's Home's End.
You all touched
That
it,
was
you got this
crazy.
knowledge, and you returned to the sanctum. To which you were graciously gone, yay, thank God! You guys going again now? The fuck you talking about, Morningkin?
I mean, I
You
was
wild
down.
as hell. You wild as hell. We ain't doing that right now. And the party decided to take some time to rest, which was not a bad idea. And
We did research.
Yes, but I think
Wow.
it's important to highlight you guys went there with a plan and it went off without a hitch. I want to point out that final fight, that was the final fight. That was the end of the chapter after you get that piece. The end.
Yippee!
We don't have a
did
good track
it.
record with final fights, do we?
No.
Actually, not
we
really that
talk our way
exciting.
out of them. We teleport our way out of them.
Honestly,
I mean,
I'm all for it.
Considering we did like 3 fights and someone died in all 3 of them.
At least one.
I do think
2?
it sucks.
3.
Uh,
2.
I do think that it sucks that we didn't explore Web's Edge more.
Yeah, you
There
guys.
were certainly a lot of things that we missed.
Yeah, you guys didn't get any of the secrets that were there. No
probably why
secrets
the chapter
gained in
was so
chapter
short.
2.
I don't care.
And also, you guys could have recruited that
Yeah.
Cyclops. Gertrude was her name. Didn't get to play a
Aw.
Cyclops.
Care.
favorite
That
sheep.
sucks.
Womp womp Gertrude.
Don't
Womp
you
womp.
know? Okay.
My favorite spider.
But yeah, you guys went through, and you did it like a pro. 3rd time's a charm is what they say.
Real.
Uh,
Yeah, I got to a point where I'm like, I just want to get this piece and get the fuck out. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
and you had some downtime. How did everyone spend that downtime?
Angie.
Don't all act
Why
at
were you
once.
angry?
No,
Oh.
I'm trying to think of what I did.
Why were you
You
angry?
asked for your things. Your goggles and your circlet.
Right. And also ended up figuring out where Beck was. But we can get into that in the next episode.
Yep.
Just kind of did my own thing.
Yeah, we met Illustrial's wife, who kind of just came down and it was like, "You guys need anything from the gas station?"
Yeah.
Came down
Yeah,
with
like,
a
yeah,
bubble,
I'll
dog.
get chips and a
Newspaper.
Slurpee.
Like a newspaper.
She was the dad that went out to get milk and actually came back.
With chocolate
crazy.
milk, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The good kind.
yeah. She asked us what items we wanted, and she would go and buy them.
Yeah. First,
Wasn't,
like,
I was like,
her,
let's
isn't
go.
her name like Marion or
it's like Melena, or something like that. Milena. I don't know.
That sounds right.
I her post it.
Milena!
But yeah, I believe this is
Pretty
where
cool.
the second display of the Anama Riz comes in. I believe it was Sterling and Anama entered the library and they saw Tasha there with a pile of
Dude.
books.
Whipped out like
We were
one of
all
those
there. We were all
pool
there.
cue things, like the things you use to like scrape against pool cues to like make them all
Chalk.
make them like shoot
Yeah.
easier. You chalked up his horns, make them sharper. Flashed his teeth, went up. Tasha and was like, "Hey." And Tasha pulled the big old cold shoulder, and Inama was immediately flustered, and did not go
This is where-
well.
You rolled.
This is where you find out she's into women.
Well, you rolled a natural one on your
Real.
charisma check and dropped the books that you were trying to find, and immediately fumbled the bag. It was. It was. An
It was
L.
hilarious to say the least.
It was an L.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it, and Noir's like, "Yeah, good luck, bud." And he's like, "You want to make a bet on it? Like, we'll fucking, I'll do it. I'll be fine." And then like she was just watching in the corner, watching you fuck up. So fucking funny. And then I think after you were like, "You win."
Yeah, it was not destined to be.
Psychological.
I think during the conversation, he looked up and was like, "Okay, you win."
Psychological damage.
It was really funny.
She didn't.
It was really
She didn't
funny.
even
It was
have
funny.
to use psychic glance.
Well, the party had ordered some magical items, and rest had overtaken them. During the night, the scales on Anama began to shift back over to red. That's where the DM switches back over to Noah, because Web's Edge was completed in a record of not really, I don't know if it's a record, but 3 sessions.
Speed running.
Where you guys sped run through it, yeah. But yeah, that was chapter 2, Web's Edge. You guys got the first piece of the ride.
We're so fucking cool.
That's so real.
Yeah.
And we've almost caught up to where we are currently.
Yeah, we're actually, I think, probably a
We're
session
fucking
That's
away.
speed running the
A
podcast.
session behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any other thoughts before I suppose we could wrap it up?
Sterling big brain.
No thoughts,
No.
head empty. Inama was very fun to play.
Well, maybe you'll get to do it soon.
He was a really fun character to interact with as well.
Stark contrast on Amani, who is about as exciting as a white piece of bread.
Which is why Morgana prefers him.
And I honestly, I love playing a character like this. It's so nice to sit back and just let you guys do your thing. And when combat or whatever comes around, I'm just like, I'm gonna follow them around, or I'm gonna, I'm not like, I want to go do this. And I'm just like, bro,
Yeah.
I don't care.
I also not that I didn't have much agency, but I chose not to do a lot of things because in my mind, I don't necessarily know what's coming up, but I want it to be more their choices than mine.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I could have
Yeah.
done things, and in fact, I should have done things, but I was like, I'm gonna let them do it.
You definitely should.
nice about it.
You definitely should do things.
Yeah.
Not in this
Hopefully we
duo
do it
DM
better.
Your story.
situation. Yeah, you guys have to fuck around and find out. We're not doing that.
What do you mean?
They
Yeah.
already know what's going on.
We're just.
Why are we fucking around and
I don't
finding
necessarily
out?
know, especially because I haven't read Ryan's chapters, but just I feel like I wouldn't want to mess around too much.
Yeah, just in case. Also,
We leveled up.
we're NPCs. This is what we do.
Real, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of what we do. Oh, sorry. Morgana.
Apologies. Yeah, that's why Morgana was like, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta do it now. But
Do it now.
Do it now. Just like I'm about to do this
Do it
outro.
now. Do it loud. Do it proud.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Vecna Eve of Ruin, where we finished this chapter,
Bye.
Web's Edge, and we move on to the next one, full of mysteries. Who knows where it could take place? We definitely have no
we
clue.
finished Web's Edge in one podcast. Hilarious.
Yeah, how crazy is that? You
That's
guys
kinda
absolutely ruined me. Not ruined me, but you did it
Ah,
good.
ruin, evil ruin.
Eve
You're
of
so
Ruin.
funny.
You did it good. Good job.
Get out of here with your stupid puns.
We try 'em.
But next week, you can catch this at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. And, of course, the Normal Cyclist podcast at Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about all things TTRPG if you're interested. We'll see you there.